today, after many months of construction, we are finally at the day where we've installed the photovoltaic panels, the PV panels, as they're called. And that's because this is going to be a net zero energy house, or aiming to be. And that means we're going to get all of our energy for the house from the sun. So behind us are these PV panels, right? I mean, what's it like to install these? Is just another day at the job, or is it?
You know what? Every job site is very unique, and I think that's why it's still exciting. But,
okay. What about this one? What was special about this one?
Given the time of year, the iffiness of the weather, the height of the array, and getting the equipment up here and working safely is slow.
So let's explain. So it's December. Normally it's what, pouring rain?
Yeah.
Right. But here we are, clear sunny day, and it has been for almost 2 weeks now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So cold. And is that good? I guess it's good for electronics. Is it good for the workers, or?
It is. We've been actually kind of blessing the cold.
Okay.
Because it's with the low humidity and the cold, we're not getting very much frost on the roof. Just a little bit. It melts off quick. Whereas if we had that really moist air and then the wide temperature difference,
right, then
it would get warm during the day. A lot of humidity would then hit dew point, and then these roofs would be icy until 11 noon.
Oh, I see. And so, yeah, somebody was telling me it's like working on a playground slide. I mean, these metal roofs, they're great for keeping the rain out. Are they easy to attach the panels to? How does that work? Maybe we should look at the details underneath here.
Sure. On this roof, we used a clamp that clamps onto the standing seam, so it's a non-penetrating solution, which a lot of people are starting to really like, because nobody really wants to put holes in the roof.
Who wants to put a bunch of holes in the roof? That's just, just dumb, right? Yeah, okay.
So it's nice. So the clamps go down, they clip to the seams of the roof.
Those vertical ribs on the roof.
The vertical ribs on the roof.
Okay.
And then our attachment points attach to those S5 clamps, the seam clamps. And then we put on a racking rail on our attachment points, and then the modules get attached to the racking rail.
So hip bone to leg bone, basically.
Exactly.
Okay. So what about, I mean, it's calm today, but what about a raging wind? Wouldn't it just take this thing and throw it in the next county, or?
No, definitely not. These clamps are rated for thousands of pounds of uplift, and these aren't going anywhere.
I mean, the whole installation is a little over $60,000. That's installed. That's what they call balance of system too, right? So it's the panels, it's the racks, it's the labor, it's the inverters, it's the wiring, it's the whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about what is it, $7 a watt, something like that?
Yep, that sounds about right.
And then with the stimulus package that Obama's administration has brought in, the Congress, I guess, too. What is it? There's a tax reduction of 33%.
30%, I think.
30%.
Yep,
okay.
30%.
So
and
that's
they lifted the cap.
And that's to the homeowner or the buyer, or is it to your company?
That is it gets passed on to the customer.
But then there's also in Washington State, there's no sales tax on any of this, right?
Correct.
So, and that's normally 9.5% these days.
Yeah.
So that's pretty nice. Isn't there an incentive too of some sort for the power generated, or?
There is. There's also a second meter that we put in that only goes one way, and that's forward, and that's called the production meter.
Okay.
And that's what they use to calculate your incentive payment, which is 15 cents per kilowatt hour.
Right. Okay.
That you produce.
So I guess I'd have to do the math here, but 9,000 kilowatt hours times 15 cents, $1,000.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
$1,200 a year. Okay.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
And it adds up.
It's going to take a lot of those to get to. Well, let's see. So we got about $60,000 system. We get 30% of that off, so that's maybe we're at $45,000 cost to install, and then we're going to try to take $1,000 a year off of that. So 40 years might pay for itself. Is that important? Does it have to pay for itself? Is that the game?
Well, it depends on who you talk to, really. It's a lot of people look at the return on investment a lot, and some people, it's more of a philosophical kind of decision.
Right.
And,
this house would probably be maybe a mixture of both, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
You're
they're aiming for net zero energy, and in order to do that, they're going to have to produce power on site. It's just sit here There's no maintenance at all, right?
Pretty much no.
Keep them clean, right?
Keep them clean, and they actually do a good job of keeping themselves clean at this pitch.
How's
The
it?
gentler the pitch, the more debris will fall
Oh,
out
I see.
lay on the panel.
Should the owner, I don't know, check them once a year or something, or what?
The modules themselves, you know, just making it a habit of looking up here and making sure there's no huge debris buildup
Okay.
and everything is enough. You know, we offer warranties, work and stuff, and we come out every so often. And really the most important thing is to make a habit of walking by the inverter, which has, you know, a series of codes and lights on it.
Okay.
And if the light is green, usually everything's good, and keep tracking what it's doing from month to month. The more history you get, the easier you'll be able to see.
The inverter is actually right on the way in and out of the house, so they can keep an eye on it. That's a good place to put it, rather than say, you know, I don't know, in the basement or somewhere where they
right around some dark corner somewhere.
Right, exactly. You've probably seen a few of those, right?
Yeah.
This box here is the inverter. It's the sort of the heart and brains of the PV system. Its job is to take all the power that comes in DC from the panels and convert them to AC power, which can then be used inside the house. It also regulates the power, so when it's very sunny and there's a lot of power being generated on the roof, but maybe only a couple lights are on in here, there's not much need, it'll decide when to send things out to the power utility. I certainly don't want to fall off of here. So how do you rope up, right?
Yep.
You got a harness? And
we put in harnesses, and we rope onto the roof. There's safety attachment points.
Okay.
Like this.
Have you ever fallen?
Nope.
Are you serious?
I have not fallen.
Should I not ask you about this? Is
No.
this a bad curse? Or? Okay.
No, well, I always hear that.
I mean, it's a risk, isn't
yeah.
it? It's, you know, working up on roofs. Why is it always on the roof? I mean, why not put these on the ground or something?
Well, I've actually done quite a few ground arrays, not in this area, but back east. The ground arrays were very popular with farms and stuff like that.
Okay, where you have some room to spread out.
Yeah, and you know, closer you get to the ground, the more the trees and the surrounding obstacles are going to have an effect.
They'll get in the way. Yeah. Okay. So we you know, I guess we were talking a little bit about angle, but these are pitched ideally for summer, so they're sort of they're looking. I mean, the sun's low right now in the winter sky. We're getting close to the solstice here, so we're not getting optimal production here.
Right.
But this is a weird day. Normally during the winter, kind of cloudy, not going to get a whole lot of sun, so we're just going to say, all right, we're going to buy our power from the utility in the winter. But in the summer, these things are cooking.
Right.
And that's when the sun's higher, and so we've aimed it this way. This isn't Arizona, right? Normally it rains all winter, it's cloudy, you know.
Well, we catch up in the summer because the days are so long and so sunny.
Okay. And what about, you know, morning and afternoon? I mean, are you trying to get it from 7 in the morning when it first comes up, or?
The basic window is 9 to 3.
9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay.
You try to get a shade-free roof from 9 to 3, and
so we got a chimney on this one. Is that a problem?
You know, when it starts getting on in the afternoon, as the shade creeps in, it's going to start decreasing the output. In this array, there's 4 strings. You want the 4 strings to be independent from each other as far as shading is concerned.
All right, so let's do the nomenclature again, or the vocabulary. A panel is a rectangle, right? We said they're about.
We call those the module.
Yeah, module. So that's 170 watts, right?
Right.
And then a group of how many of them makes a string?
In this particular case, it's 12.
12.
12 modules is a string.
And then this is a 4-string array. The array is the whole group of them. All
exactly.
right, I got it.
You've got it.
Right. So you want to have, you can't split up a string into different parts of the roof.
Well, you can, but if you do that, you have to be very conscious of that whatever string is separated, that part of that string is not getting shade while the other part is not.
I see.
Because then you're dragging that whole string down.
Okay.
It's like the weakest link theory.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Spinning the meter backwards, what does that mean?
Basically, it's sending the power that they're not using, but they're producing. They're an independent energy producer at that point, and they're sending it out to their neighbors. And the way they track that through the electric company is through a bidirectional meter.
Okay.
So when they're using more than they're making, it's turning forward.
And they're paying the utility for the electricity.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then when they're producing more than they're using, it's going out to their neighbors and it's turning the meter backwards.
Cool. That must be pretty neat to see the meter go backwards.
You know, it doesn't get old.
Yeah, okay.
It doesn't seem to get old.
I guess you've seen it a bunch. But
yeah.
This box here is the inverter. It's the sort of the heart and brains of the PV system.
You know, it doesn't get old.
Yeah, okay.
It doesn't seem to
I guess
get
you've
old.
seen it a bunch.